Hey, everybody, this is Perch. Let's get right into this mail. And I think we're talking to somebody who's, I always like these people. So let's go to it. It says, Hey, Perch, I'm meaning to email you for a while. Watching your channel is basically part of my daily routine at this point. I am 19. I work at a comic store, and I've been trying to get my own comic publisher going to put out my own books and other new creators' titles. Finally, I was just about to ready to go with Diamond after going through their application process. I'm sorry. And now I have no idea what's going to happen. If Diamond truly goes down, which they're claiming they're not, but who knows, it seems like there will not really be a place for small publishers. I'm not really sure what my next move at all at this point. I've emailed Penguin and Lunar to see if they have begun accepting new publishers again, but it seems unlikely. If you have any advice or words of wisdom, I'd very much appreciate it. It'd be cool to chat with you, but I know you're busy and I'm not sure my struggles interest you. I've kind of a unique story around the store I work at if you're interested. I've been thinking about opening my own store for a while, and I've been saving money for publishing. Let me know if you're interested in reading in my comics. I can send you a Google Drive link. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. Have a good day. Would love to read your comics. Would love to get in touch with you. So reach back out. I'll reply to your mail here. But yeah, let's get in touch. But so to your mail and to your point, a lot of people are asking these questions. So obviously the future is uncertain, but there's a couple things that I think we do know. First off, um, even if Diamond kind of pulls it up together, they get their creditors in alignment, they get restructured to a point where they can continue. Um, you shouldn't put your eggs in one basket. It's a common saying for a reason. You need to be looking at other opportunities. Gone are the days when single source distribution makes any sense for anyone. So you do need to look at others. Penguin Random House is they go on and off accepting applications, but honestly, if you're a small publisher, the approach to do there is find an aggregator or basically a publisher aggregator who's already signed with Penguin Random House and sign with them. Many of them will do a processing fee, so you're letting somebody else is taking money out of the pocket to have that opportunity, but it's low. In a lot of cases, you've got companies who are just trying to diversify what they sell through, and they're trying to get steady, the efficiencies of scale kind of approach. And there are a lot of them out there that you can reach out to who are already members of Penguin Randos. The benefit or the negative here is you're going to give them like 5%. The benefit is that they're going to take care of some of the administrative stuff you are going to take care of. And, if you're young and you're stepping into this for the first time, yes, you're paying some, but it could take a ton of risk off your plate. This business isn't easy, and there are legalities, there's finance. If you're going into this, you need to have a financial advisor. You need to have not a dedicated lawyer, but you need to have a service that you can tap and reach out to. You need some financial accounting help. There's pieces that you need in order to be successful. So, my advice to you is if you're starting this out, start out with somebody's help. That's what these companies are really designed to do. They can help. They can take care of a lot of the basics, and they can basically give you the leg room or the bandwidth is the right way to say it. They give you the time, the bandwidth to be able to focus on your core product, which is at this point making comics, getting that routine set up, and getting that flowing. And so I would highly recommend you do that. Lunar, I don't know. I'm sure there are publishers who would take you under your wing there, but I would go to Penguin Random House. Absolutely. Lunar does a fine job, but the other benefit to doing it that way, the way I'm describing, is that it is always easy to then spin out of that kind of publisher aggregator and have your own business once you've learned the ropes a little bit, once you understand the mechanism, how certain things work, feel comfortable about the finances, that everything is flowing, how to do the bookkeeping and records, how to get back in touch with people. The challenge with Diamond is Diamond would allow small independent publishers to come in on their own, but they really wouldn't give them a lot of padding and support. And I'm not going to go as far as to call that predatory, but I would say that if somebody is going to get skimped on a payment, the small publisher doesn't know any better. The independents who, in some cases feel beholden. And I do know small publishers have gotten the notice basically of, hey, I did you a favor by, letting you in the door to be a publisher with me. Now you do a favor by, for me by, going ahead and not penalizing me for the fact I'm going to pay you 90 days late or, whatever it happens to be. That's not a relationship you want. Unfortunately, comics is riddled with those kinds of relationships. Again, it's too strong a word, but to me, it feels predatory. It's I did you a favor. Now I'm going to skimp on payments, and you're going to take it because you're beholden to me. And if you don't, well, then I'm going to tell all of my buddies to not cover you and just suppress you. And yeah, that stuff has gone on. There's definitely been in a lot of cases, very subtle. It's not like you'd imagine from things you read online. It can be as simple as, hey, this publisher over here has made some noise for me, caused some of an issue, to the beat or to Bleeding Cool. And so, maybe we don't cover their comics, and usually not said so directly, but the comic industry is so thin skinned around, perceived faults. So it's like, oh, did you say something that might have offended this person over here? Well, then I better not talk to you. And unfortunately, one of the core things about comics is that you need that conversation. You need the marketing. You need people talking about you. That's how you're going to get your product out there. And especially if you're small, it's how you get noticed. But instead, there's this underlying threat that if you make noise or do things in a way that's not, approved, usually to someone else's benefit, then you don't get covered. So then your marketing becomes twice or three times as hard because now you're having to climb uphill. And too many people, like I've heard plenty of creators and other people go, well, I haven't heard much about this publisher, but that must be a bad thing, right? Because if I haven't heard anything, that must mean there's something wrong. I don't know. Better keep my distance. It is amazing how often that happens, and it's wrong. It's bad. It doesn't. It's not. None of this is good. So anyway, that was a long-winded way of saying, there are some companies. I'll reach out to you, but there are some companies who will do this aggregation, and that's what I would do if I were you. But you definitely, to start this business, make sure you're covering all the dots. And this doesn't mean you need to go start outlaying cash. It just means when it comes time to have somebody look at your books or to file your taxes or to do your audit or any of that, know what you're going to do. Maybe you have the skills and background with your education and whatever class you're taking and what you're doing that you know how to do it yourself. Cool. Maybe you need somebody else to help you do it. So what's a service that fits within your budget? There are lots of people who do your taxes and finances who are relatively cheap. You're not going to get 5-star service that are going to turn something to you overnight. But, for $100, you get somebody who does it in a way you're not going to get sued. So these are all things that help in this process. Um, in terms of kind of the bigger question you're asking, what happens now? Um, you know, it, Chances are Diamond's going to kind of fumble around here for another year, year and a half as they try and figure things out. Now, there's always a possibility that several, the core principals inside Diamond say, yeah, we don't want to go through this pain, and they nope out. But more than likely, they're going to try and kind of keep it together. Unfortunately, for a distributor to hit this moment, it's toxic for them because if you're asking the question everybody is asking now. If you're a new publisher, you're somebody who's getting ready to put some comics out. Why would you go to Diamond? You're going with a very uncertain risk. So people are just going to naturally start figuring out other paths to Lunar, to Penguin Random House, to others. Comic shops are going to reduce their dependency on Diamond as aggressively as humanly possible. And so all this just means less cash coming in, which then makes the recovery that much harder. So it's a chain reaction that we're in now. I'm not optimistic about Diamond, pulling out and making it all work. But nor does, it, in the case of some people who are hysterical about it, nor does filing for Chapter 11 means like there's chains on the doors and nobody can go in and everything's fucked and there will be no comics anymore. No comics. I mean, why do we have to keep living with those reactions, by the way? It's like, DC's going out of business in 3 months. Diamond is filed for Chapter 11, so therefore the no new comics will be published ever. The comic industry is dying. Manga has killed it, and it'll be over by May or September, October, 20 years from now. One of those. I just the overreactions are just. I always the people who shout this stuff like you realize you sound like an idiot. Well, I mean you clearly don't. But anyway, Hey, I'm glad I'd love to talk to you about the comic store, your publishing business, everything else. Glad you're out there doing what you're doing, and let's get some comics out. Thanks for listening.